not a vaccine issue. It goes to the very core of who we are as people, who we are as parents, and the type of nation that we live in. I stand here as a parent. I stand here as a sacrifice to my child, knowing that my voice is hers. The actions I choose is her repercussions, and my power is her right. This bill is so dangerous because it strips away parental authority, and it makes parents mediators of state will. This disregards and trivializes the very essence of the parent-child relationship. We make decisions for our kids because we know them in a deep and intimate way that no government can ever access. When will we learn? When will we learn from history? We look back to policies, which are blanket policies for a whole group of people, and the harms that it has caused, the lives it has cost, and the pain it has inflicted. The Telegraph Journal today came out with a piece that stated, "Standing for risk to others at no benefit or consequence to oneself is not a defensible use of freedom." This is a false premise. They failed to see the depth of reach of this policy and all the levels in which it violates relationships, people, freedom, and the sanctity of life. This is akin to an ethical stance which states the ends justify the means. And we are here to say that is unacceptable. The Charter of Rights and Freedoms was put in place to protect against this very danger. And we stand here in defense of our charter rights. This bill unacceptably limits our freedoms. Whether or not they keep that notwithstanding clause, speaks volumes about what this bill is about. Use of the notwithstanding clause is meant to further inform our understanding of human rights, to further protect individual freedoms. It is not meant as a stopgap to block access to the rule of law. They have said that there is grounds for which the use of the notwithstanding clause in this policy is justifiable. Where is the data for this? The presenter of this bill himself has said we have an incomplete picture of the landscape of this issue. Our records are not complete. How can we say we have justifiable means if we can't even know what we are talking about? This issue is being framed as an educational policy, and I think the silence of the medical community, of the health professionals, speaks volumes to this bill and its intentions. Last summer, we saw this bill. We saw this bill as Bill 39, and it is back now. It is back now as Bill 11. Back in the summer last year, They have used the Notwithstanding clause to block access to a court system which upholds a rule of law and is meant to protect individuals from being overridden by the majority. Where is the public input for Bill 11? Where can our voices be heard? We have no voice in the legislature. We have no voice in the media. And so we stand here together. Our voice is strong, saying we cannot be ignored. We will not legislation such as this to pass unnoticed. You have severely underestimated the residents of New Brunswick. We are watching, and we are not done. So thank you, everyone, who risked, who took time from their day to come out and stand in defense of our rights and freedoms. This is true community. This is true caring. And this is the type of society I want to raise my children in.
Across the world and around the globe. So you all can know you are not alone.
Thank you, women, and all those of you who were actively involved in organizing this presentation here today. We must stand for freedoms. I want to tell you, we have never met before, but I sat around a constitutional table with Prime Minister Pierre Trudeau, and I'm proud to tell you what rights you see written in Canada's Book of Constitutional Laws pertaining to women, we put them there. When we arrived at the constitutional table on the 15th of March 1983, women were not even on the agenda, let alone be included. Now, a little bit of arm twisting. If you look at Canada's Book of Constitutional Laws, you'll only find women, female persons, mentioned in there twice. Once in English, once in French. And this is how it reads. Rights guaranteed equally to female persons. That's women, that's you. I like to believe that applies more to the small L liberal, the small L liberal kind of woman. She's got the numbers, she's got the power, she's got the capacity to make our world a better place. Look what they're doing to our environment. Look at Bill Virus C-19, created at a military base in North Carolina, Camp Lejeune, in fact. Dr. Judy Mokowitz made it public. She was arrested by the FBI and held in jail without charges. We have to admire these brave and strong women. I'd like to remind you again of one other woman. She's a Mohawk woman, Iroquois, Continental Horn. This is what she said in her presentation at Concordia University in Montreal, June 17, 2004. She said, Canada is slipping into a despotic state. What's happening to us today will happen to you tomorrow. Tomorrow is here. I want to thank the woman that spoke just before me. I admire everything she says because I believe her intent is good, but a little bit misplaced. I want to tell you what a judge in Alberta, I was looking for it now, but I couldn't find it, but I do have it written down. A judge in Alberta in the appeals court said that the Charter of Rights and Freedoms was an experiment that went wrong, and it must end right now. That is bad. Real bad. There are no rights. Allow me to tell you what John Chrétien, Prime Minister John Chrétien, we'd like to believe that the Liberals are for small people. I'm not for plain Hicks, by the way, but I want to tell you that John Chrétien put in place the Notwithstanding clause, and this is what it does to you. And I'm here, pleased to back up these women and support them in all the good words she said. However, the Notwithstanding clause by John Chrétien will take away your legal rights, your civil rights, your fundamental rights. We're all prisoners. That's bad.
It's a very slippery slope when you take that away.
Yeah, and we have to stand. I want to remind you, because I wish that you would all get yourselves as thoroughly informed as you can on constitutional laws in this country, because they are in serious trouble. The Supreme Court of Canada, in a court challenge that began on the 18th of April, 1981, the English premiers, Richard Hadfield was here at the time, brought Pierre Trudeau to court. He had two questions on the agenda in the Supreme Court. Pierre Trudeau. And one of the questions was, who has the authority to undo constitutional laws in this country? Who has the right to change them? The other one were, are Indian treaties valid in the 1980s? On the 28th of September, 1981, this is what Chief Justice Paul Alaskan made public. Yes, Indian treaties, Micmac for us, treaties are valid in the 1980s. In fact, they're written in your country's Book of Constitutional Laws under Section 35, 1, 2, 3, and 4. But let me tell you what he said also. The only criteria for changing constitutional laws in this country is when the Prime Minister calls a constitutional conference, invites the premiers, territories, Aboriginal peoples, and when a yes or no has been arrived at, it has to be voted on by 7 premiers who make up 50% of the population. A premier alone, working with Ottawa, has no power, no authority to put in place the Notwithstanding clause. You know, if none of you are too offended, I would say this is the kind of thing that happened in Europe in 1933 to 1945. We must, even now, we have to pass the hat, each give $1. We're going to put a court case tomorrow. This premier does not have the authority to put in place the Notwithstanding clause. Does not. We all have been too passive. I'm not advocating violence. I'm not advocating revolution. I'm only saying what this country's book of law says. Now, when a court judge can say that Pierre Trudeau's famous gift to the world, and I'm not a Trudeau admirer, by the way, but I like him, admire him. He put in place the Notwithstanding clause, so this will distinguish Canada from all other countries of the world. Yet, when a sitting judge can say this Charter of Rights was an experiment that went bad and must end like now.
Hear, hear!
We got to get ourselves informed and be a little bit more aggressive in the way in which governments deal with us. Here's a man that's been here. He has a minority government. I wonder what Chris Austin is saying now. Here's a man of God. What kind of a God does he have when he can stand by and see something like this go on?
Hear, hear!
What about David Coon? They both hold the power here, yet they can watch this Notwithstanding clause go through. I guess my time is up, but I want to thank you all. It's a pleasure for me to be here, and anytime you need any answers to any questions pertaining to constitutional laws, I will help you. Thank you, thank you.
I'm listening to the live session right now and we can hear ourselves screaming.
You join us in fighting for rights. You join us